need-based financial aid applicant. It's free. If you wind up on some site that's asking you to pay money, you're on the wrong site. There are ways that the internet steals your search, but it's the government site. It is based upon not the year in which the student will go to college, but the past year in which the family has already filed a return. It opens in October of the student's senior year. Most state institutions use only the FAFSA to determine aid. Every institution that does need will look at the FAFSA, and it is highly driven by income, more so than by assets, although student-owned assets are heavily considered. This is why there are these finance guys who tell you how to make investments if you're saving money for your children. Now, when you go to the private colleges, you increasingly also add in the need to file a CSS profile. That's a College Board form. That form takes a look at more assets and is a little more complex and frequently ties into what's called institutional judgment, where the college isn't bound by the outcome of the formulas. All of this is factored in against what's called total cost of attendance. In order to determine need-based aid, the college looks at tuition, room and board, fees, travel expenses, and other things like that. They take the total cost of attendance and they calculate what's called an expected family contribution. This is the worst term. Why? Because your expectations, as my expectations were, are not what we're talking about. Expected family contribution is a federally defined term that is calculated according to a very complex and long formula based on the inputs that you put in. So the expected family contribution is the number that a college will come up with to say that's what you should pay. And the difference between that and the total cost of attendance is what they might give you in aid if they're giving 100% of need-based aid. I think I went through a fairly complex calculation right there, one that I'm all too comfortable with. But if I've lost anybody, please, I'll try to do it again. The purpose of all of that, the reason I told you this is if you're looking for need-based aid, you need to understand that EFC, expected family contribution, will not necessarily be the number you'd like it to be. And you should be checking what's called net price calculators. The reason Martin brings me in here is because people who are too simplistic in what they tell you, and they say you're going to get an answer from a net price calculator, for instance, aren't really telling you the truth, because we're Americans. We make complex markets. We have thousands of colleges. Things happen a lot of different ways. Net price calculators are mandated by the federal government. They exist on every college's website by law. They also exist on the College Board website, and Wellesley College has tried to develop a better one. They are absolutely essential if you're concerned about the cost of college education, but they are absolutely not perfectly accurate. If you want to see, for purposes of comparison, you should do that. I had a family this year whose daughter's top choice, she's not an athlete, his top choice was Kenyon College. She was well qualified. He has a very good job, but they have a lot of health challenges, including any number of things. I don't want to identify the family. So I kept saying to them, check the net price calculator, because I could see there could be a problem, even though he has a big job and makes a lot of money. And then I said, check the other net price calculators. And they've just gotten a change in their award, even though she was accepted in early January. So it's been a tough haul. If you think need-based aid is part of the issue for you, please check out net price calculator, and do it any time now. And if I can make a suggestion, to the extent that you're willing to share your financial information with your children, which is a tough thing, have them look, or at least have them look at the outcomes. Okay? The FAFSA is filed in the student's name. They will get the PIN. Eventually, if there's going to be need-based aid, they're going to have some idea of the finances. For all of you to decide if and when, but eventually they need to understand some of this.